Hello, this is High Templar with my new Total War Warhammer DLC analysis video, and today we'll be talking about Update 6 and Britannia Update patch notes, because we just got them today, and I want to talk about the most important things, the things that will change the multiplayer the most, the things that will change campaign the most. So let's get this going, and my analysis. So we will be obviously getting Britannia with the new roster and the campaign and everything, which is pretty cool as a free DLC. But we will be also getting the same day Isabella von Karstein. Also pretty cool. I thought we might get her a bit later on because we just learned that we will be getting her like a week ago, and it's going on. So it's amazing. I do love it. I do love it a lot. And then some very important news. Those guys are deploying a multiplayer drop hack exploit fix in 2 stages. So they will analyze the resulting data and player will receive messages if there was a leave from conditional exit. And I'm hoping that will be some things like you will drop in a table a lot, because many people that are on the top of the table were using that drop hack. Not that it would affect me because I don't play that many quick battles, but people that do find it extremely irritating, and I surely understand why. Then the Woodles will be more isolationist with a periodic bursts of aggression. That is fine, not really that important, but fine, very lore friendly. This is big. This is absolutely amazing, and we will have to see how much it will improve the AI recruitment logic, because so far, for example, in my Let's Plays, I have not experienced many silly armies, but I've seen in other people who complained about it a lot, that AI could not really build a proper army to fight them, and they were just doing a lots of silly stuff like all cav army. And I actually think that all cav army is not bad, and I was using that skirmisher option for multiple occasions, but the problem was those armies were really poorly planned, and some of them at least. And I've seen, for example, Belegar having only rangers. That makes no sense at all. So we will see how much it's improved, but I'm looking forward to test it and basically hear from you guys. What do you think about it? I'm hoping it will be lot better. Now, auto-resolve will be improved. That's also very nice to hear. It's a lot better since update 5, but it's not ideal. Then they have added some quest battle maps to the quick battle map pools, which is also very cool. And there is assembly kit update. So yeah, what's not to like? This is if you are very interested in doing mods or doing maps or stuff like that. This is something that will be important for you. Also, it seems that they've made a lot of fixes. Memory leaks, campaign crashes, all that stuff. That is pretty big. Although I have not experienced a crash yet. If you people did, then maybe your game will be working a lot better. This is also quite amazing. And yeah. Rebalance AI recruitment cost. Okay, cool, fine. I'm okay with that. Improved HP unit consistency in auto-resolver. Again, pretty cool. And this is one of my friends, Celester, you know him, I've mentioned him a lot, finds very useful. I don't, but he was very furious about few things that this happened, that enemy general basically was surviving with 1 hit point and he could not kill the guy, and that was pretty silly. Alright, so characters who run out of action points, movement will be grayed out for more consistently campaign map. That's not really that important. What else? Dwarves can make grudges against wood elves in campaign, which is, pretty cool. And those are some basic fixes for he and she. That's not really that useful. And Wurzak will be having some effects for Fury of the Prophet. I'm not sure if that effect will be actually something that you can see, or only some visual effects or something more. Hidden HP for enemies will no longer be visible. Oh, that's also pretty cool. Because that was just silly. And what else? There are some bug fixes that are not really that interesting for me, at least. When Necromancers was losing his crumbling and disintegrating abilities when he was on corpse guard, that could be pretty annoying if you knew that was happening. I didn't know that was happening, and this is pretty important. So raise that spell during the deployment phase. You can no longer raise zombies near the attacker, which is again pretty cool, but not that interesting in the wider realm. Also, we are getting some fixes for the Realms of the Wood Elves, some crashes, some stuff like that. Not really that important again. So, what is, however, pretty cool is that the skill tree icon for the Gorbul full seeker ability will be now there, and the reduce Morgul resilience in combat by decreasing in magic resistance to 20%. If you were fighting Morgul, or you are fighting by the Morgul, basically we're leading Beastmen, that will be the one that you will have to watch out. Also, you might think that it's not that powerful. What else? The Life Bloom. The Life Bloom was reduced like a lot. Life Bloom spell so far was basically getting 10 HP per second for 10 seconds, and now it's getting only 4. That's major nerf. Let's talk about unit balancing, because this is really something that will be visible in the combat. And Trolls getting additional 10 armor and 37 HP per entity is big, because Trolls sucked big time. Then we are getting a buff, additional physical resistance from the paint and charge bonus and melee defense for pretty much all the savages. And that again is pretty cool, because Savagers were underused. But they were underused because they were hard to use, because they were 0 armor, maybe very vulnerable, and now you have a reason to pick them. However, I'm not sure if that should apply to Savage Orcs unit itself, which I've seen on many occasions, and they will be even more powerful right now. For the Biguns, Orc Boys and Orc Boy Biguns for sure, because they were not as good as it seems. Savage Orc Archer Boys, additional 10%, why not? I mean, I never picked them again, so that might not be enough, but whatever. Forest Goblin Spider Riders and Death Creepers will have one more armor piercing, missile damage, but they will lose non-armor piercing, which is pretty cool. So it changed to armor piercing 1 damage, and also they are getting minus 50 to cost, which is pretty cool because this unit was also underused. So I like how they are making units in, for example, Greenskins roster, making them more powerful, the ones that people use very rarely in multiplayer. I like that a lot. And additional projectile shot by the Goblin Wolf Chariot. Again, this is pretty cool because nobody was using that. Like, nobody. For the Empire, we have, well, more cost for Karl Franz because people, again, start using Karl Franz and almost exclusively. And this is cool because you were only seeing Empire generals before, but it seems people were using him a bit too much. Amber Wizard on the Warhost and Barded Warhost seemingly got 18 charge, which makes not really much sense. And Amber Wizard on the Griffon minus 30 charge. Okay, fine, I'm okay with that. Knights of Blazing Sun plus 100 cost. I understand that. I understand that because lots of people were using them because they have very high charge bonus and they were really powerful. What is interesting is that at the same time, the Rise Guard, Zinkler Rise Guard, got minus 100 cost, which I think is a mistake. You should lower the one or make one more expensive. Not both, because nobody will be using Blazing Suns. Everybody will be using Rise Guard. True, when they were the same price, Blazing Sun guys were more interesting, but now where the cost difference is 200, I don't think anybody will be picking Blazing Suns. Or at least it would not be wise, in my opinion at least. Then we have Dwarves and the Organ Gun has more buffs, and that makes sense because that was very underused cannon and that was very interesting cannon, and not having equivalent on the Empire side, so that was pretty cool. Flame Cannon minus 150 detonation force. I don't agree that Flame Cannon was again underused and that was pretty cool. Maybe they did it because it made no sense from, physics perspective. And that one I would understand. Gyro Bomber was, I'm not sure, a bit buffed, I guess. Projectile spread is a bit more and reload time is less, so that makes sense. Iron Drakes, huge buff in HP, and this is interesting because mostly they are talking per entity, now this is per unit. And it makes sense to buff Iron Drakes, which were very underused unit, especially in the multiplayer. Then we have Goblober, which cost was increased, and that again made sense because everybody was picking Goblober only and then some cannons. And that was working very well. For the Warriors of Chaos, Marauders Horsemen throwing access minus 50 cost. That might be a bit too powerful. I do agree that guys were not chosen, and I do love play Chaos, so it's playing on it's adding me some handicap, but yeah, I don't think that's necessary. Chosen with Halberds buffed again, and yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense because Chosen is vulnerable unit because they don't have shields and they have limited health for such an expensive unit. They will be target for everybody. So making them more alluring is obviously what you need to do. Archeon, do you have a Chosen on Doggar plus 86 HP? I don't think that's enough. Plus 20 armor, okay, fine. He will be more resistant, I get it. I love Kolek, Sun-Eater, so maybe I'm a bit biased, but I think he's still not good enough for his price, because you get a match with him, but you are putting really lots of stuff in the one basket, and that makes this basket a bit less squishy, but is it enough? I'm not sure. Chaos Troll are getting, interestingly, more HP, but not armor. Only armored Chaos Trolls are getting more armor. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using Trolls, test them and see if they are worth it, because before, not really, no. For the Beastmen, Beast Lord on Chariot minus 400 cost, 15 charge bonus, plus 1 collision attacks max targets, decreased melee attack interval and plus HP. Now this is huge boost. And even if the Beast Lord is not on the Chariot, he's getting some decreased cost, but he's getting decreased armor, but he's also getting lots of goodies that would offset that missing armor, in my opinion. Also, Khazrak was buffed with decreased cost, bit armor, but increased getting Vanguard deployment, which is pretty crazy for Khazrak, who is pretty powerful. And you can actually tie your enemy for quite a long time with him. Although, yeah, this armor will be a bit of... and also decreasing melee attack interval. I like that. And also Khazrak on Chariot, again, decreased cost, additional charge bonus. What's not to like? I do like all those changes because everybody was playing Morgur because it made absolutely no sense whatsoever to keep any other lord. It was silly. It was silly because Morgur was the only way those guys could win the battles, and it seems that Creative Assembly has understood that with the departure of summoning Cygor for a long time and additional debuffs that I will explain later on, those guys will be really bad on multiplayer. And now they are buffing some of that. Like Bray Shaman, getting some weapon strength, armor piercing weapon strength, and multiplayer cost. Or Bray Shaman with Razor Guard Chariot with slightly decreased cost. And this is the guy that I was always picking for my gameplay, for example, if you remember. Malagor the Dark Omen, only buffs. This is pretty great. Bestigor, only buffs. With speed, charge speed, damage, and charge bonus. I do like that because Bestigors were not performing for their price. And additional speed, finally something that will make them Beastmen. The Beastmen are supposed to be a lot faster than humans, and I do like that change a lot. Gorehead with dual weapons, again buffed a lot. I'm not sure why, because this is the ones that I was always choosing, but maybe I don't know something, maybe they were underperforming. Cygor, additional health, why not? Angor Spearman Heart with shields, some more leadership but less charge bonus. Makes sense. On the Angor unit, additional mass, and Angor Head plus 2 weapon damage. I must admit, I did like this unit before, and now it's even better. All Centigors now can hide in the woods. Well, obviously that should be there for like quite a lot. That should be there from the start, basically. Vampire counts, Hexrite charge bonus, it's cosmetic. Hellman Gorst minus 200 multiplayer cost, obviously nobody was picking him. Hellman Gorst on the Carp Court, however, plus 150 multiplayer cost, I don't think that is a good idea. Stersman, 100 cost plus, yes, obviously. Those guys were always there. Manfred von Karnstein Zombie Dragon plus 75 cost. I'm not sure, it's a big target. Vlad von Karnstein, some more cost in the multiplayer and campaign. And then, Vampire Lords, Red Dukes on Zombie Dragons, any of those guys, additional cost, but not by much. A little bit. Now this is a huge change. We've seen a lot of Mortis Engine and Clothed Nagashes, and now they are a lot more squishy, because they will have 800 HP less. And Terrorgeists, another buff, which will make them pretty powerful units right now. Very powerful in campaign, and pretty useful in multiplayer also. Vargulf also got buffed, and the Black Coach was again buffed a lot. And I will have to finally test it if it's worth its price, because so far it didn't perform such well. For the Woodles, Eternal Gods and Eternal Gods with shields, more cost. By shields guy by a lot. And yeah, they were in every build, makes sense. Wildwood Rangers minus 5 AP weapon damage, I do not agree with this change. Wildwood Rangers should be pretty powerful. Glade Guards minus 10 meter range. as much as I do like playing elves, you must admit that everybody was picking Glade Guards and taking like 6 units or so. 4, 6 units. A lot of them. And it makes sense to nerf them. Maybe a bit more than decreasing the range, but have to see. Now Deepwood Scouts, all the Deepwood Scouts, plus 15 entities to a unit, making them normal unit size, additional ammo, additional range, but decreased missile damage and missile armor piercing damage. Mind you, they still have plus 15 entities, so they will have a lot more health, they will have more range, and they might even do more damage. We'll have to wait and see. Even with this damage nerf, plus 15 entities is a lot. So I will be testing those guys. Those guys might be pretty cool in the multiplayer from now on, considering all the other cool things that they have, like running away and shooting. Way Watchers, some more increased marksmanship, ammo and speed. Cool. That's what I would also want. Some radiuses were really nerfed a little bit. Nothing that powerful. Magic missiles are more, they hit more, which is, again, they have changed a lot of things here. They have every spell that has armor was increased from 15 to 30 and from 30 to 60, which is a lot. The armor spells were very underused, and they should be right now. The Lord of the Wild and the Beast recharge times are now more consistent with other laws of magic. Yeah, well, we will have to wait and see how they actually were changed a lot, and this is the most important part in here. Flock of Doom, less effective. Flock of Doom was second most powerful spell in here, and that was very versatile spell. You could use it a lot. And now it was made less effective. We'll have to wait. We'll have to test how much less effective, but it makes sense because you would use all the time Flock of Doom and nothing else because that was just too good to pass out. And now you might consider other options. So I'm all for about that. Alright, so there will be some additional fixes like Empire Captain Barden horses getting free abilities and no items. And some of the skills where will be turn off, turn on, that's not really that important. And there were some quest battle map pool additions. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm looking forward if they change the map. I would really like to see how they changed. Now, this is very quickly about the units, but we have more because we have patch 6 full ability balance change list. And again, you've seen that, read me all of that, but let's have a look into details here. Now, the big WoW was very underused, and now they have reduced cost of pretty much everything except Here We Go, and Here We Go was the only spell that was consistently used, so again, good balancing. From the Little WoW, Sneaky Stabbing was changed to a single target. A single target now. So, useless. They actually make this ability useless unless you are using it or on the Black Orcs in very specific setting, and it's not lasting as long as before. So yeah, not a fun. I mean, I would do something about it because it was still pretty powerful, but reducing to single target is taking, like, when I was casting it, I had to at least 4 units in sight, and that was mostly Black Orcs. Now it will be 4 times less effective if I'm using it. And that's a lot. 4 times less effective is a lot. Vindictive Glare, reduced cost, and upgraded version also. Gork fixed it the same. Nine Shroud, visibility range debuff from 92 to 96%. That is a lot. That is quite a lot. Maybe I'm going to test it. We will have to see. Curse of That Moon, decreased price, and also movement speed. Actually, movement speed for all the vortices were decreased by 25%. So this makes them more reliable in dealing damages. So again, excellent. For the far protection, we've already seen from 15 to 30, and duration is increased, and they upgraded cost from 8 to 10. Still, pretty solid spell right now at this very moment. And Shem Burning Gaze was decreased because, yeah, it was not very used. Light of the Battle was decreased in cost, and I also like that. Biona Time Warp upgraded, reduced cost. That won't be enough. This spell is just not so good. Banishment, reduced cost from 22 to 20. Again, they are really way better spells that could do the same job, like Purple Sun from Death, who could do pretty much the same damage for 12 mana. I know, there are some, the banishment lasts longer and everything, but usually this Vortex spell don't stay for such a long time to make it matter. So mind you that. Lord of Heaven. So Harmonic Convergence upgraded, armor remained at 30. So it actually means that the relative power of other armor spells, this was effectively reduced. So it will not be any better. But Curse of the Midnight Wind, armor increased from -50 to -30, cost increased, especially upgraded version. And Comet of Casadora upgraded, slightly increase in AP explosion damage. It should be not slight. Comet of Casadora is not a good spell at the moment. It's very flashy, but I haven't really seen many people use it. It should be seriously buffed, especially because in tabletop it's pretty hardcore. Lord of Fire. Reduce AP damage to 18%, reduce duration, reduce cost. Okay, I guess, fine, whatever. Fireball. With the Fireball being more accurate and less expensive, I might be using that. Burning Head, as I mentioned, Vortex speed is reduced, and the Flame Storm. So the detonation force is allowed Vortex to deal damage reliably to light entities. I like that also, because Burning Head was the one dealing a lot of damage to light entities, and the Firestorm didn't perform as well, even though it was really much more expensive. Aspect of the Dread Knight, duration decreased from 17 to 14 and upgraded, and increased cost from 6 to 9. I don't understand that. That spell was, I have yet to see it used. I mean, it's a cool spell if you use it correctly, but not many people do. Doom and Darkness, reduced cost from 9 to 7. This one I used a lot, it's pretty cool. Doom and Darkness will make your enemy run away, and this is extremely useful. Alright. So Soul Blight and upgraded. Armor increased from -15 to -30, duration from 16 to 20, upgraded duration, cost increased only by 1 and upgraded by 2. Soul Blight is more powerful, I like that. Fated Biona will now pick against units with more than 36 entities rather than 60. Cool. I'm not sure. Cost will be 16 for 2.7k damage. Well, I'm pretty sure Flock of Doom will still be a lot better, but whatever. Again, Purple Circus, the same thing, speed of the Vortex decreased. Strigoi, Okay, that is Command of Anivik upgrade from 12 to 14 in cost, to 18 in cost. Fine, I have to admit I haven't played that much Strigoi, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. Now this is something that you absolutely have to actually... this is something that you absolutely have to read. We know that the Rise Dead was overpowered by much. By a lot. And now they increased the Rise zombies from 2 to 3 and upgraded from 4 to 5 and upgraded from 3 to 4, so by 1, and added 5-second cooldown. Will it be enough? In my opinion, no. That is true that you can now summon 33% less zombies to the battlefield. And this is pretty big, but I still feel if you will be raising skeletons, this 5-second cooldown will not be a problem, and you will be able to rise a lot of them and still push, and zombies in some places, and push the battle in your favor. And obviously now you should be raising more of the skeletons, less of the zombies, but still, I feel like this still will be a bit more, well, a bit overpowered basically. Now we have power of Curse of Undead from 8 health per second to from 4 health per second to 8. Okay, fine. I'm with that. That was very... I haven't not seen this spell used once. Again, I have not seen Vental Dance Macabre used, so decreasing from 5 to 4 makes sense. Gaze of Nagash I still see, and decreasing it from 9 to 8 and increasing the chance of hitting. Yeah, I mean, it will make it... The magic missiles might be back, basically. Plague of Rust. Yes, have not seen this being used. Now it seems like it will be pretty powerful. If you can, for not that much mana, for 44 seconds, decreased armor by 60. That is quite a lot, especially for the units that have 50-60 armor. Even for Bretonnian units, that will be pretty hardcore, because they have like 60-70 and now they will run at 10-20. That will be the end of them. If you used your, say, non-piercing units correctly, like archers or anything like that, that will be the end of them. That will be pretty powerful spell right now. Searing Doom, reduced cost, obviously. Glittering Robe, increased armor and duration and cost reduced. Obviously, I don't remember. I remember using it like once or twice, but that was all. Gehenna Hounds, reduced detonation force and increased reliability for the light entities. Okay, I'm fine with that, and it's slower. Gehenna Hounds was never that fast, and it was so good. Now it will be even better. Fine. Final Transmutation, decreased cost. Okay, I'm with that. Lord of Shadows. They reduce range of Melkov Mystifying Miasma and change cost from 10 to 8. Fine. And Enfeebling Foe, reduced cost. Makes sense. I have not seen it used. The Withering, again, was pretty buffed. I mean, a lot buffed, really. With the reduced cost, increased duration and armor effect. Now I might be wanting to use that. Now, Occam Mindraiser. It changes 44% AP damage to 36% and duration reduced from 32 to 27. I was not using that spell a lot because I hadn't had a chance. I guess if you cast it on the Greatsword units, it's pretty powerful. But they also reduce cost. For example, from 18 to 10. And that I don't get. Upgraded version from 21 to 20. Fine, I guess. Lord of the Wild. Make cooldown more consistent. Very tight. Cost change from 6 to 5. Fine. It is a nice addition because Veritite was underused a lot. Brave Scream also the same thing, and making it cheaper makes sense. Devolve. Damage that peaks against 45 more men. Damage increased by 50%. Alright, so with nerfing of Flock of Doom and increasing damage of Devolve, they might be again on pair. I mean, they were never on pair. They might be now on pair. So it might make sense to actually use Devolve again. Traitor Kin, reduced cost. I don't know why upgraded version only by 1, makes no sense to me. Mantle of Gorok, again, pretty cool, but they decreased duration a lot, but also cost. So, we'll have to see. Lore of the Beast, as I mentioned, Flock of Doom, and the increased cost of it, so it will be pretty sucky at the moment, I feel. Alright, so yeah. Increased duration of Wizard White form armor and decreased cost, yeah. Again, Amber Spear will be more powerful, we will be using Amber Spear again. And Pan Impenetrable Pelt, change ward save to physical resistance, well, nerf, okay, fine. Reduce cost from the regular from 8 to 7 and increased upgraded 13 to 14. I would have to agree with that because that was one of the spells I was actually using on occasion. Lore of Life, reduce power of Life of Bloom by come on, 60%. That is crazy. That is crazy. Earthblood, cost increased from 8 to 9, fine, I do agree. Flesh to Stone, armor increased from 45 to 60. And duration increased and the cost reduced. Makes sense, makes sense. Dweller Below, I don't think that will change anything, nobody will still use it. I mean, Life Bloom was useful at some points, now it won't be. Alright. Reduce range of the Rune of Wrath for and Ruin from 75 to 50, that won't change that much. Added max 3 uses to Arrow of Kuronos and crit rates to 600. Now I know people that will hate it. All the elf players were using the Arrow of Kuronos because they have unlimited number of uses, and in the long, very long battles they could cast it and cast it and cast it. That was the only way they were winning. Now they will be pretty angry. And with the other nerfs for the elves will suffer. Alright, increased duration of a Scourge, that's not really that important, all those small items, not really that interesting. Lady Champion changed to 1 use, deactivated when routing. Nerf. Blessing of the Lady changed to self buff with plus 20% physical resistance and 1 use, deactivated when routed. That is quite a nerf. Right, whatever. What else? From what I see here, there is not that much. Hiking was obviously pretty powerful, so increasing the cost, it makes sense. Beloved Son of Bretonia also, it was pretty cool. Guardians of the Wild would replace +4 leadership with +8 bones versus large. That is pretty cool. Change Black Coach abilities into passives. Wow. That is pretty cool also. Black Coach might be a lot more useful than it used before. And we have also added some stuff to our lords like Filthy Mace to Chaos Lord, Dark Mail to Kazrak, Hellfire Soul to Exalted Hero. So those guys will be able to do more interesting stuff. I like that. I do like that a lot. Also added Potion of Strength and Speed to the Vampire Lords and Strigoi Kings. Strigoi Kings with the Potion of Strength and Speed will be pretty deadly. They gave also potions to Beast Lords and Dwarf Lords. So I never understood really why that was the case that they didn't get. And it will really level the battlefield, although not many people are using Lords at normal Lords at the moment. It still makes sense. And I do believe there are reasons to pick your normal Lords with the Potion of Toughness. Alright, so this is it. So what I think, Chaos got slight buff. There was a huge nerf for Wood Elves. A huge nerf. There was a huge buff for the Beastmen. But in the places that makes... I don't think that will be that much visible, but all those lords that were not being used will be now... It will be sensible to take them, not like automatically discard them. And I like the changes, the balancing. I do like that a lot from what I can read. I will have to test it, but it seems that they truly nerfed the abilities that were overused and buff the abilities that were not used, especially with magic. And this is something that, well, that YouTubers were talking about and players were talking about on the forums and stuff. So I do love it, and I'm hoping to see much more of those in the future. So we can settle like with Rome 2 started pretty badly, and now it's amazing game. I'm hoping that Total War Warhammer build will be also very, very well balanced. And I already liked it now. They had few problems, but there were fewer and fewer problems. Now it's way cooler. And this is it. I hope you like it. If you did, press like, comment if you will, and see my other videos. I do Total War videos for the mechanics, DLC analysis, and mod reviews. And I also do Let's Plays in Total War series and other games. Thank you for watching, and see you later.